Okay, now we're looking at problem 7, problem 3. And this is net revenue interest where there's a joint ownership. That means 4 people own it together. So they each own what's called an undivided interest. But this time they have different royalty interests. So let's just read the fact pattern. If we start with, let's see here. Leonard, Penny, Raj, and Sheldon each own an undivided interest in 480 acres. So I'm going to underline 480 acres. Each signs a separate lease with Big Bang. Leonard's lease contains a 1/4 royalty. Penny's contains a 3/16 royalty. Raj's contains a 1/8 royalty, and Sheldon's contains a 3/16 royalty. So they've negotiated different leases and they have different interests. So first thing it wants you to do is to fill out lessor number 1. This is going to be easy because we know lessor number 1 is Leonard. Lessor number 2 is going to be Penny. And then Raj is number 3. Sheldon is number 4. Okay. Then the next thing they want to know is what the royalty interest for each of them. So for Leonard, his royalty interest is a 0.25 or a 1/4. Penny's is a 3/16 or a 0.1875. Raj's is a 1/8, so a 0.125. And Sheldon's is a 3/16, so again a 0.1875. So now their mineral interest is if they each own an undivided interest and there's 4 of them, their mineral interest is going to be 1/4 or a 0.25 here. So then what you do is you take the tract acres, that's this 480, and you're going to divide that by the drilling and spacing unit, the unit acres. So 480 over 640, 480 over 640, 480 over 640, and then one more time, 480 divided by 640. Okay, so then to do the calculations, we're going to use our calculator. And we're going to say, starting here, Leonard's is a 0.25 royalty times a 0.25 mineral interest times this 480 divided by 640. And that's going to be a 0.046875. 875. Okay, so let's do the same thing for Penny. Penny's interest is going to be a 0.1875. She's got a 3/16 royalty times her mineral interest of 0.25 times the total tract acres or lease acres being 480 divided by the total unit acres, which is 640. So Penny's interest is going to be a 0.03515625. Okay, now I know that Penny and Sheldon each have a 3/16 interest, so their formula is the same. So I'm going to go ahead and complete Sheldon's blank, and his interest is going to be just like Penny's at 0.03515625. So the only one that we need to figure out now is Raj, and Raj has a 1/8. He didn't do a very good job negotiating his lease, so he only got a 1/8 interest or 1/8 royalty times he owns 1/4 interest, so 20.25 times his 480 in the tract divided by 640, and his interest is going to be a 0.0234375. 0.0234375. So that's how you calculate joint ownership, undivided interest with a different royalty. So now we're going to move on to problem number 8.